Hi, Michal. My first question to everyone is like, can you tell us a little bit more about yourself, your background, and how did you get involved with the Piglets project?
Yeah, hi, Sean. Well, thank you for having me. My background is I spent around 25 or 20 years in programming. I started with Flash, ActionScript 1 and 2,
Mm.
Flash banners, Flash website, promo websites, games. We could do a lot in, Flash ActionScript. But then it kind of phased out. The technology itself was killed. So I started doing some Unity games
That's pretty
and
cool.
learned Unity. I tried all kinds of different frameworks. Like I just love doing creating games and animations, especially. I work a little bit with audio as well,
Mm.
so it requires audio. Um, and so I also did in Flash, and I did a lot of e-learning projects.
Mm-hmm.
For I traveled a lot in Europe. I lived in Estonia and in Turkey, and I spent a year in Greece and worked for different companies. So it was in Flash basically, and then later I did Unity, few projects in Unity. Unity is really amazing. I think as a the framework IDE, they have so much tooling to make the games more rapidly and to create. They have integrated tooling for animations and all kinds of audio and all kinds of other things. So Unity is really great for these projects, especially mobile games. And then I learned Phaser 2 years ago, and with the Master Pig, we started this project,
Mm-hmm.
the wheel for the Piglet's wheel. So that's what I've worked on, and some other projects as well. And for the wheel, I've created basically the whole wheel. I got the designs, so the animations, the sounds, you know, and especially the sounds. That was a challenge for me to create a perfect spin, and then there is this crescendo when the music it ramps up a little bit at the end, and
Yeah.
based on the winner you get different effects. So if you get the biggest piglet, the piglet win, you get this special effect and sound. And so I had a lot of time creating the animations and the sounds for the wheel as well.
You
So
for sure did a very good job. The wheel worked pretty well. The community loved it.
about
What
that, yeah.
was like the experience of creating the wheel? What are some problems maybe that you had during that process, or something unexpected that showed up?
Not too many things. The wheel itself is really simple
Mm-hmm.
in comparison to some other games. If you compare it, to even 2D games or arcades or even whatever other types of games, honestly. But if you went for like tabletop games or something, but still the wheel is very, very simple in
Mm-hmm.
comparison to almost anything else. Um, but there was one specific thing in case of the wheel, if you want to know.
Yeah,
Like
for
for
sure.
example, if you are spinning, you need to get the information from the server
Mm-hmm.
about the winning sector.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a little secret, maybe not everybody knows when do you get it. It's everybody is waiting for the win and so on. It's exciting to be excited to where is it going to land, but you get basically this data from the server.
Yeah.
But what happens if, for example, your internet runs out during the spin, or or you unplug your cable, or your Wi-Fi goes down? You need to keep spinning the wheel until you get the data.
Oh, really?
So basically, there was this kind of like asynchronous. You had to wait for the data so that you would know where to stop the wheel at which sector, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the anticipation.
Yeah.
But for the programmer, it's not about the anticipation. The programmer knows the data before you actually see the winning sector.
Yeah.
But so basically, this was the challenge. If you experience connection loss or some kind of other problem during the spin, you have to keep spinning, and afterwards, once you get the data, you can decide when to stop, how many more spins of the wheel you have to still do until you can start slowing down the wheel. onto the sector which will be the winning sector. So this is like the development challenge, which I very much enjoy. And so with the wheel, this was I think the biggest challenge.
On this question, I realized that most of the team members had issues which are more in the back end and the normal users don't really realize, but there's a lot of things happening which sometimes it's very hard to manage.
Exactly. So this is like, it seems like a very simple game. Like it's just a wheel that spins, and it starts, it spins, and then it slows down, and that's it. And you see all these animations and effects, but actually the most difficult tasks are usually in the background that you don't see. And this is a challenge for me, and I very much enjoy it, and therefore I love doing games, these small challenges in the background.
What are some technologies that you used in the creating of the wheel? Like, can you tell us a little bit more?
So I get the design from the designer. Based on how they are structured, I have to either restructure them further or don't have to restructure them further. And so I have to slice the designs, just like if you do HTML, for example. You have to slice, for the website, the rectangles. But for the wheel, you slice all the small elements, like the slices themselves, which are the winning slices, the X, X10, X5, and so on. And you put all these slices into an atlas. So that's basically a huge texture which contains all these different small slices of the data. And why I put them into one huge texture is because it's more performant to have one texture in memory, and even to load one file instead of loading 150 files, because there is always delay between when you call to load something from the server and you get it back. There is a cost involved in that. So this is a performance solution for loading the data, but also for then writing into the GPU, so the graphic card. For the graphic card, it's much easier to handle one texture. So I use texture packer so first I open the designs in Photoshop, I slice them into smaller textures, into the parts of whatever the game needs, and then I pack them into one atlas using texture packer. So then I have texture that I can then read the smaller, they are called sprites, the small images, into, and now some kind of game framework. And we are using Phaser as a game framework. So Phaser is quite similar if you coded something in maybe ActionScript or Unity, even, although Unity now uses C# and so on, but it's still quite similar because it supports the Phaser structures, or can structure the display list of the objects into like a tree structure. So you can put an image above another image, or different images within a container, which then you can scale separately. And so I don't want to go too much into details, but so it's very similar because it uses tree structuring of objects to Flash or to Unity. And so it was easier for me, even since I worked with Flash and with Unity, to go into Phaser, although Phaser uses JavaScript, because this is on the website, so we are using JavaScript and WebGL to display the content. And so Phaser is amazing. Phaser is like one guy actually creates, the framework and sustains it. There are many other people who contribute, and they're active on Discord. And always when you go there and you have some issue, someone always helps you. So it's really, really good. It's free. You don't have to pay, anything if you develop anything, even commercially. You just support or don't support the creator, which is absolutely amazing. So it's great. It's supported by the community.
It's amazing that developers have such tools to create like projects like the one you did. My next question will be like, you did a pretty good job with that Wheel of Fortune. Is there something future or option that you would like to see in the Piglet's project in the close future?
Well, I would love to work on some other type of game, for sure. Depends on what is needed, honestly.
Do you have any vision of a game that will be cool for our community?
I love creating any type of game, honestly. I get excited about different things based on what I'm creating, This was a very small, this was like a very small game. I was doing even ads in the beginning in ActionScript 1. Nobody likes ads, but I loved making animations, different types of animations for the ads, making them more interactive, special, like not just normal picture ads or anything. That those things don't interest me too much, but something which involves a lot of animation, sound, something interactive. I don't know, man. It can be 2D game, it can be tabletop or anything. Really, I find excitement in the details. So as soon as we get into specification and so on, and so I always find something to be excited about.
That's amazing. Okay, thank you a lot for your brief explanation of your work, of what you do, and what are things you would like to see in the Pigletz project. And see you in the next one.
Thank you, Sean. It was enjoyable, and looking forward to the next one.
Thank you.